Hey everybody. Let me get you guys set up so I can do my little makeups, my eyeshadow. Okay, so I'm just doing my eyeshadow and who, baby? No. What was the number? So I wanted to talk about, no, I wanted to talk about how positive affirmations, positive thinking, positive self-talk, however you want to call it, helps addicts, and how it's helped me in my life. So first I'm going to give you a little bit of background on what it was like for me when I was in my active addiction and how my attitude has changed in the last 3.5 years. So when I was in my active addiction, I was always like had this sense of doom, like doom and gloom was all around me, right? I was always, waiting for the shoe to drop, waiting for something to happen, like always coming in and out of withdrawal. And just like I said, that impending sense of doom. All the people I kept around me were active addicts. So we were all, pretty much doing the same thing. We were all always searching for drugs and we were always getting high. So I learned really quickly that, if I wanted to stay high for most of the time, that keeping people who also use around me and people who have that, like the disease of addiction, keeping them around me was going to be the best way for me to be able to stay high, and achieve, get drugs every day. Because like I said, I was very, very serious about my drug addiction. I did not like not having dope. I did not like being uncomfortable. So I worked really hard on, looking for dope and getting it. Hey, Kit Kat. So when I was active addict, I would, keep myself around people who were always using and always, in that sense of like doom. It just became a way of life. If you were in active addiction, you guys know what I'm talking about. When you're an active addict, you might not know how to do everything at first, but eventually you learn, and then it just becomes a way of life. And that way of thinking becomes normal. So that way of thinking, like I'm never going to recover, I'm always going to be a junkie, had became my normal. I actually got to a point where before I got pregnant where I thought, you know what, I'm going to die. I'm going to die an addict. And I was okay with that. You know what? I hate to say that I was okay with it, but I had gotten to a point where I was accepting it. You know what I mean? And, if you've been through addiction, you'll know what I'm talking about, where you get to that point where you're like, you know what? I've tried so many times to get sober and I'm just not having any luck. And it doesn't look like I'm going to be able to get sober ever. And you just give up on life, And so that's what I did. I gave up. I gave up on trying, and I just, just kept getting high. Well, when I got sober, I went into treatment, and I was in there for 30 days. And of course, the first 2 weeks I was in treatment, I was doing all kinds of stuff I wasn't supposed to be doing. I wasn't staying sober, sneaking drugs into the rehab and just all kinds of craziness. Well, then I got caught. So that ended that real quickly. After I got caught, I got serious. And it was because I was faced with these ultimatums. Like, if you don't get serious, we're going to take your kid away and you're never going to see him again. And that was a big deal for me. Like, I didn't want to lose my son. And I loved my son enough to know that I had to make a change. You know what I mean? Because I did not love myself. That's for sure. So the next 2 weeks of treatment, I straightened up, straightened my act out, got serious about my recovery, and started like actually learning about the disease of addiction, actually like listening to what my counselor was saying and taking that stuff in, and really like really adopting that lifestyle in my mind and in my heart, and knowing that, you know, hey, I got to get this. I got to, you know, come to this conclusion that, and I got to be willing to do whatever it takes so that way I can recover from this hopeless state of mind and body. So those 2 weeks went by really quickly, you guys. And the next thing you know, I'm out of rehab. And so getting out of rehab is fucking scary, y'all, especially when you've been in your active addiction for like 13 years and you don't know nothing but how to be an active addict. And that's all I knew was how to use. You know, sure, I had a job before and everything, but I didn't know how to hold a job without being high because I used dope all the time. So when I got out, I got a sponsor and started working the 12 steps and started going to meetings. And I actually started a job, you know, and was holding a job and doing really well. But while I was working the steps with my sponsor, she taught me something about perspective and the way I look at life today. And that's what has helped me a lot throughout my journey here. I learned that, like, I can't look at my life like it's falling apart. I can't look at my life like I'm less than, or I'm never going to get to this point. I have to look at my life like it's a open, like it's just a, hey, lewd content. I have to look at my life like it is a block of clay. And that block of clay is there for my molding. I can shape my life today in any way I want to, okay? I can choose to make it great and succeed in my recovery and have you guys in my life, or I can choose to go back and use drugs. And that mindset has really helped me to change my thinking from, you know what, I'm hopeless, I'll never recover, I'm never going to get this. So instead, I wake up every morning and listen to lewd content, because I know you're new in recovery and this is good stuff. If you're new in recovery and you're waking up and you're like, damn it, I don't want to wake up today, I don't want to go to work, or I don't want to be alive, stop right now. Stop where you're at, and I want you to do one thing for me. Every morning when you wake up, I want you to raise up your window, pull the blinds up, look out at the trees, look out at how beautiful the sky is. And I want you to say, today I'm grateful to be alive. Today I know that I'm a miracle and I shouldn't be alive. You know, many of us had, you know, near-death experiences where we would overdose or, you know, catch ourselves on fire because we fell asleep with pills or anything. And we shouldn't, y'all, we're miracles. We are walking miracles. So you have to realize that you are a miracle and that God, your higher power, spared you because he has a plan for your life. You might not think it, you guys, but there's a plan. There is a bigger plan for your life, and you just have to tap into that. So that's why when I wake up every morning, I really, really work on waking up in gratitude, even if I'm not feeling good. Like, for instance, you guys, today, I have been feeling like shit. Hey, Happy Farms, LA. Okay, girl, I know that's right. That's what I'm doing right now. When I wake up in the morning, this morning I felt so shitty, y'all. Like, I felt like sick is what I mean. And I was really going to let it get to me. I was like, you know what? Damn it. But then I thought, you know what? I have to show my son how to deal with life too, you know? So instead of getting all in my feelings and thinking how sick I feel, how bad I feel, I got up, shook it off, and got up and got ready, you know? And took my little boy to school and sent him off on a real positive note this morning. And that in itself, you know, shows me that I'm doing the right thing, because I see that little angel baby go into school with an easy transition, you know what I mean? Transition. He used to go in there crying, and now he goes in there and says hi to all his friends, you know? Let me see. I'm trying to see what y'all are saying. Sleep made me realize how grateful I am not to feel that way anymore. Yes. Totally. Like that, if we look at life like, you know what, if we can remember where we came from, okay, we don't have to live in the past and dwell over it, but we need to keep where we came from at the forefront of our memory. There's this page in the big book, right? It's my favorite part in the Alcoholics Anonymous big book. Yeah, I stream from my phone, and it is called, and it's on, I think, like page 40 something. Anyways, in there it says that we, as alcoholics and addicts, we cannot bring into our memory with a sufficient enough force the memory of a week or a month ago of when we were in active addiction. And that's why so many of us fall back into relapse, because we don't keep, when we're like in that triggered moment and we're in the obsession, the active mental obsession of wanting to go out and use, instead of changing our thinking, like we have to change our thought right then. When a thought comes to your mind and it says, you know what, you need to go get high today. Right when that thought comes into your mind, you guys, we have to stop that thought right then. We have to stop it and change it, right? As soon as we change the thought, we need to find something right there to do something different. Go do something. Go call a friend. Go to a meeting. Read the big book. But you need to do something. Do an activity to change that thought pattern, because what you're doing is you're interrupting the thought going through your brain. Seriously, it works. So once you can do that, you know, you can basically fight off the temptation to use. Once you can learn how to do that, and that's the thing, like a lot of people, they feel like they have to admit that they're powerless over drugs and alcohol right now. Like while we're sober, we're not powerless. I have power today. I have the power of choice. I can choose to go out right now and get high, or I can choose to sit here and do my makeup with you guys and stay sober. Oh, I can imagine that. That's why I had to go back to work. Just keeping busy keeps my mind off of using. Right. And see, you know what will happen? The longer that you, the longer you put between yourself and drugs and alcohol, I don't want to say easier, but the less you're going to think about those times where you want to get high, or you want to get drunk. Okay. The more time you put in between your last drink or drug, the less you're going to think. And here's the thing, you guys, like my title of my video says, it's about changing our perception and our thinking. Like if you're constantly around people who are drinking and smoking and doing drugs, and you're seeing that activity doing all the time, that's what you're gonna do. You're gonna do what you see as being done. So what we have to do is we have to change everything. We have to change the people we hang out with. We have to change the places we go. If you're an alcoholic and you're early in your sobriety and you don't feel comfortable going out to eat because they serve liquor, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't go. You don't have to do that. You don't have to put yourself in that position. And that's the thing. You have to make the choice to be assertive for your sobriety today. For the longest time, you guys, I would keep going around old people, places, and things, and I would wonder why I was relapsing. I was like, I just don't understand. Why do I keep relapsing? And then I finally realized, oh, it's because I keep going around temptation. And what it does is it gives our mind, it gives our brains the okay it tells my brain like, oh, wow, well, I'm going to let you go. You can be around this, but, you know, and then your brain, it's almost like a permission statement when you're going around people who are still drinking and using. It's giving your brain permission and it's telling it it's okay to be around that. It's not okay. If you're sober, you need to be kicking it with sober folks. If you have people in your life that are still getting fucked up, you need to distance yourself from those people. I'm telling you guys, it never works. It never works. I wouldn't tell you a lie. I've tried it. I've done everything there is to do to experiment and get by without doing what was suggested of me. I've done every single thing there is to do to not do the program. And from experience, to drink after watching people have fun and enjoy. Yeah, I used to serve too, girl, and bartend, and I absolutely had to not do that. I had to stop working in the restaurant industry because that whole scene was just like a drug scene and alcohol scene, and it was like not conducive to my sobriety, you know? I'm a Pisces. I am too. I'm a Pisces too. It wasn't conducive to my sobriety, you guys. And I like literally feel people's emotions and their hurt and their sorrow. And if I'm around a bunch of people who are still in active addiction, dude, that shit makes me so sad because I see the pain and the sadness in their eyes. Listen, you guys, nobody that's actively using wants to be there. You know, it sucks. We all have been there where it's just awful. So, and the thing about it is, like, for me, I used to say that I was an alcoholic, but I would never drink. Here's the thing. I would say, oh, I'm not an alcoholic. I'm just an addict, right? But now that I've been sober from drugs and alcohol for a couple of years, now I ask myself this question. If I didn't have my drug of choice and all I had was access to alcohol, and I was still living in my old lifestyle, would I drink alcoholically? Would I drink to get faded? And the answer is hell yeah. I would drink to not feel. That was why I would drink alcohol, to not feel anything. So sometimes my little addict brain will tell me, like it did on New Year's Eve, it said, oh girl, why don't you and Neil go get a bottle of champagne and toast up the night, right? I had that thought. It came through my mind. And then I sat there and I thought about it and I said, you guys, if I'm honest with myself, if I drink alcohol, I'm going to drink it like I shoot dope. And I will turn into the biggest lush that you ever met in your whole entire life. And I also rewind to this time back when I was on probation for drug addiction. I had gotten a Class C felony for possession of a controlled substance. And I was on probation for 3 years. Only made it 1 year though. And I was trying to figure out the combination of where I could use drugs and alcohol successfully without negative consequences. So I was trying to pass drug screens, basically. So I tried getting Klonopin, Xanax, and all that stuff out of my system so I could take drug tests monthly. Well, that wasn't working. So I had to stop taking those. So I started smoking pot. That didn't work. Had to stop smoking pot. Couldn't pass a drug test. And the only thing left for me to do, y'all, was meth and alcohol. So I started drinking every single day. I would get a deuce on my way to work. Then I would drink all day at work. Then I would get off work and buy a 6-pack of Modelo Especial and smash that. And then I would go back and get more. It was just over and alcohol. I would drink in the morning, noon, and night. And it was because I couldn't take pills, so I was using alcohol. So there's this part in the big book where it talks about if you might be an alcoholic if these things, okay? And it talks about people like me who, you know, I can not drink for years, then come and pick up a drink and be right back where I left off. And there's binge drinkers. There are moderate drinkers, people who can, like, you know, drink a little, not have negative consequences, then drink a little more, not have negative consequences. But all in all, everybody at the end eventually experiences that negative consequences. And that's what wakes us up, you guys. And we're like, I can't do this anymore. I gotta make a change because I'm like ruining my life over here. Think about it. How many of you guys were in active addiction and kind of like got to this point? You know, it's because it's what you're missing is the social aspect of drinking, girl. You're not missing the alcohol. You're missing the social part. Or, I mean, I think that's what it is, for a lot of people at least. And you can get that same social connection with girls that are sober in AA or any kind of other program, you know. It's just letting loose and having a good time. And you can do that without alcohol. I used to feel the same way. I kind of felt like I was missing out. Like, wow, everybody else must be having so much fun because they're getting drunk and faded, you know? And that's why I quit going around people that were doing that. And I started making friends with people who cared about their life and wanted to be healthy, you know? And people who are not alcoholic will not understand. You know, there's people that can drink, you guys, and they'll never have any bad experience. They don't have the disease. Okay, there's a difference. People that have the disease of addiction, the people that have the disease of addiction are different, okay, than people who do not. Okay, it's not the same as somebody who just drinks at parties. When you have the disease in you, when you take alcohol into your body, it's not like the same. It doesn't do the same thing it does for somebody who doesn't have the disease of addiction. Okay. I know what it's like though. I used to dance all the time. I was on the dance team when I was in high school, and then growing up, like through my partying days, I would go to the club and shut the club down, you guys, just dancing and dancing all night long. And I lost so much weight doing that. So I was actually looking into classes and stuff that are classes for like working out that are like dance classes. Wouldn't that be so cool? Hey, Max. So, to make my mission. Yeah, and you can do that. Listen, you're not alone, girl. I know what it's like. I'm the same freaking way. And I'm really like, okay, my son is like the reason I got sober. You know what I mean? He changed my life. He's the reason why, like, I try to just, he's the reason why I stay clean, because I know that I don't know how to explain it. He's the reason. He's my motivation. And since being clean, you know, a couple of years now, I kind of like being clean, and I like, you know, my life how it is when I'm not using drugs. So I've kind of just like adopted this new lifestyle. You know what I mean? But at first, I was just doing it for him. I did not care about me. I was like, you know, screw me. It's about him. And that's what kind of got me started on this whole life of recovery and making videos, because I'm a mom and I'm out here with my son, and I didn't have like a lot of time to go out and do stuff because I'm really with my son all the time. And it was a way for me to get connected with people and other women and other men who are in recovery and who maybe even need a little bit of help. So that way that gives me something to do. Like, helping other people, you guys, is a really big part of my recovery. And it's a really big part of recovery in general, because giving back what we learned is what we have to do. We have to give back and help other people find their way to sobriety. That's how we stay sober, is by giving back, cleaning house, and cleaning house means taking inventory, like our own personal inventory. And making sure that we make the right decisions. Yes, I am actually. I really want you to try that. It's beautiful. Yeah, actually, that's exactly what I'm trying to do and get my addiction studies degree. But And that way, because here where I live, you guys, it's not like all these places all over. In Arkansas, you have to have a degree to work in a treatment center. Like, you can't go there and, like, just be, I don't know how to explain it, but I see a lot of other people who are new in their sobriety who are, like, 2 years sober, 1 year sober, and they're working for treatment centers. And I'm like, what? Because they don't do that here. Like, you have to have like hardcore recovery. And so that's why I'm like trying to taper off my Suboxone and get totally off that, and then and get my schooling and stuff done. But that's the goal. You know, I would even love to, I have some friends who work for different recovery centers. Yeah, it is good because here it is horrible. I still have a lot left to finish. That's the thing, that they are making it to where it's just, or they've been letting people in to treatment centers and working for them who are new in their recovery, and that shit's hitting the fan, y'all, in the recovery community. There's people relapsing who are working for treatment centers and then propositioning women. That's why I'm telling you guys, like, when you're following people that are in recovery, you got to be careful, because if they're not practicing some kind of program in their life, they're still human beings and they still make mistakes. Okay. And they could still do things that could hurt or harm someone else, you know? And so if you have somebody who is just totally driven off of their ego and not off of really the pure passion of helping others, that ego will step in the way and they will become a monster. And I've seen it case after case after case of people who are 6 months to a year sober, get a job working for a treatment center and market coordinating, like where they share about the treatment center on their social media, and they do speaking events, and they, you know, like they market for the treatment center, and they go places, and because they're social media influencers for the treatment center, and they're doing that, and life is good, and they're sober, and they got a sponsor, and then the next thing you know, 6 months goes by and they're relapsed trying to fuck girls that they're getting into rehab. I've seen it happen, like, I can't even count, 20 times at least. 20 times. He said you're not addict enough for an internship? What do you mean? I don't understand that now. But you do have to have some, like, sobriety time, you know what I mean? And that's important for people to make sure that they don't just let anybody come in, because you're working with people who are vulnerable, who need your help. And so that would be like, okay, over here on my channel, y'all know, I'm not affiliated with any programs. I'm not, I'm just Nicole. And so this is my little channel. We do what we do over here. But, I share my information with you guys free. It's not, I'm not charging you guys, like, nothing like that. But there's people that do that, and they charge you money to do exactly what we're doing here on this channel, you guys. And I don't think that's fair if you don't have a degree to be charging people for your assistance when you're not even educated on it, you know. But that's happening all over the recovery community. So we got to be careful, you guys. Got to be careful. Oh. Well, girl, you just got to keep on doing what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? And you get your degree, and then it won't matter if you're an addict enough, okay? If you get your school, then you'll just go in, you know? I feel like, you know, I have to go get my education because I feel like I almost have a disadvantage, you know? You have to be a certain type of... What do you mean you have to be in a certain type of recovery, Charity? I don't understand. Like, explain it to me. Like, what kind of recovery do you do, girl? Here's the thing. A lot of places want somebody who has had experience, you know, in the disease of addiction with being an addict, and they also want you to have a certain amount of years clean. Okay, okay. That's cool. Which is, I understand that because, you know, like I was saying before, with people who are just coming in, well, you can willingly stop your drug of choice, but it doesn't mean that you're not an addict, girl. You know what I mean? I've willingly stopped my drugs and alcohol use because I wanted to get sober. You know what I mean? And we all get to that point where we want to make a change, and we just got to do it. You know, you don't have to go. Sorry, you don't have to go through all this bullshit. You can just become to a point where you're like, you know what? I can't live my life like this anymore. I got to get sober. And that sounds like what happened for you was you got to a point where maybe it didn't take you down through there as far as some of us have gone, but that's because maybe you saw it happening in somebody, like you said, with your dad, right? So you need to get connected and network with people in the online recovery community on Instagram and stuff. There's all kinds of positions open, girl, for coordinators, marketing coordinators, and people who help kids find treatment. I mean, I've gotten offered those positions. Oh, I see. I thought that you were. I felt you asking questions about that the other day, girl, and I thought she must have somebody that she loves that's on Suboxone. And I'm telling you what, girl. Listen to me, okay? He is gonna have to get connected, all right? Because when he jumps off, you're gonna watch me. When I jump off, it's gonna be fucking miserable, and I know I'm gonna be sick. I've been on this medication for 3.5 years. My body is dependent on it. Just like whenever you are an alcoholic and your body becomes dependent on alcohol, when you taper off, even if you taper off low and slow, you're still going to experience some withdrawal. And the mental part is what I'm talking about. Fuck the physical part. That's the easy part. The mental part is the part that's hard, you guys. It's that part in our brains where it's like the fight or flight part, okay? So when he jumps off of that medication, when I jump off of it, my brain is going to go into, oh my God, what's going on? I need this. My drugs are like the rational part of my brain is going to be like not existent while I'm going through withdrawal. And that's why we have to have support and people around us who know what we're going through, because I'm telling you, girl, like I know how I am when I go through withdrawal, and I don't like being uncomfortable. I know that I'm going to act like a damn fool. And I'm probably going to be crying a whole bunch, and I'm probably a bitch, but I'm ready to taper, you know. It's going to take me a while to taper completely off because, like I said, I've been on Suboxone for 3 years. And so, oh, it definitely is. And that's the thing. How about now? Look at this bun. So anyway, I hope you guys have a great day. Classy. Okay, there you are. So last night I was up till like midnight, you guys, because of this damn craziness. And I've come to the conclusion that, like, we cannot, here's the deal. And I wasn't talking about this earlier, but I'm talking about it now that Classy's here. You can't reason with someone who is delusional, right? And when people are like making up stuff about me over here, like I'm doing something to hurt people, that's delusional, because you guys all watch my channel, every single video, and you guys know what I'm doing over here. So for some people to like present this narrative that I'm somehow taking advantage of people, it's crazy. Like, I'm not doing anything over here. Like, it's just not even, it's so far from what's going on that it's crazy, right? It's delusions. It's delusions. And, you know, when I was in active addiction, I had those kind of delusions of grandeur, is what they're called. Like these grandiose illusions that everyone is out to get me and that I was being targeted. Okay. And that's how I feel like they are, is they almost feel like everyone is out to get them and that I'm over here, you know, but it's not even like that. It's the farthest thing from the truth. Oh, mercy. So last night when I went over there and I was trying to talk sense to this kid, then I realized when I was trying to talk to him that he's out of control. And I had to look at that and realize, like, I can't reason with someone who's crazy. You feel me? What are you eating, babe? Neil, what are you eating? Neil, what are you eating? What's that?
Tuna fish and soup.
Oh, is it good? Yeah. I have me a tuna fish sandwich. Hey. So, when somebody is off their rocker like that, I mean, you cannot reason with crazy. And so, I just got to stop engaging those fools. Like, oh, Lord. Now do you see, Classy, why I was so upset with you? Because it's crazy. That's why I was so hurt when I saw you over there. Because it's delusional. Because I was like, how's my girl gonna do me like that? She's supposed to be my girl. You know what I mean? And straight. I know. Okay, I'm glad that you've seen the light, then, girl, because that's all I'm trying. I'm not here to hurt or harm anybody. I wish them the best. I hope they have a great life, but this is out of control. I actually went over there because I saw her put up a video saying that she was afraid for her family's safety. What? Why are you, girl? Nobody, we don't care. I'm afraid for my safety. Nobody is coming over there. Like, you ain't got to be afraid for your family's safety. You just need to quit. Leave me alone. And then there will be nothing to worry about. Because you're making this all up. You know, I was trying to think back to how it all happened and why it all happened. And I remember whenever she first came onto our stream, she was like trolling and talking about medically assisted treatment. And that's why I timed her out the first time. Because she was talking shit about people on Suboxone. So I timed her out. And then he came in behind her saying, let my wife back in, let my wife back in. So I timed him out. And ever since then, they have had it out for me. Because I won't let him over here. I know. Look at me. They don't have anything, and if they do, they're just lies. They're made up screenshots. Nobody even talks about them, and that's the thing. It's like, you guys, we don't even, like, you're not even, like, right now is the only thing that's ever been said, and it's like we're talking about how we don't talk about them. You know what I mean? I'm having a tuna fish sandwich today, guys, and a few chips. Oh, I'll have these kind. I got these toasted pita chips. Tortilla. I know. And that's why I don't allow that over here. Because I have a lot of people who are new, who are just getting on Suboxone, and who need the support. So we don't talk, we are open-minded here. Anybody is welcome if they know how to act right.
was delicioso. We put that in there.
Mm-hmm.
It's heavy. Oh, you guys.
Are you gonna get Nate?
No. Well, yeah.
Okay.
Did you want to go or something?
Heck no, I don't feel good.
Where did I put those probiotics? Are they
In there.
In the fridge?
Mm-mm. In the computer room.
That's weird.
Right by the computer.
Did not know.
It's gotten to the point where it's like their own lies is what they're fighting against. You know?
I wonder if I'm supposed to keep these refrigerated. Let me put them back up there.
There's Neil.
And there he went. The elusive redhead.
The elusive Neil. Sneaky snake. Anyway, I just wanted to holler at you guys. I'm going to be on tonight at 6, so I'll see you back here. Okay, girl? Love y'all. He's real. Bye, girl.